All right, you created your AI voice agent. Now it's time to prompt it. So in this video, let's dive in and analyze how to best prompt your AI voice agent, look at the best guidelines, best practices, and how you can troubleshoot and optimize your AI agent. Okay, couple things to keep in mind. I always like to start by having a clear vision of what a perfect call should look and sound like. Meaning understanding what are the different steps that a perfect call would need to go through. In this example, I'm creating an AI voice travel agent that would assist this company here. The whole idea is for it to first interact with the contact. It will be primarily for inbound in this use case. And then I wanted to understand what's the issue or what's the inquiry about, provide some information, and then once the contact is ready, transfer it to someone else, okay? To an expert travel manager. So knowing the structure is vital for you to create a good prompt. Because if you don't know how you want your call to look like, you'll not be able to prompt it, right? So one thing that works very well is also understanding the structure. You can use the # or curly brackets. Either way will work. This helps the language model understand that these are different sections. You can also use numbers for sequences. And if you want to use bullet points, that will help structure the information. Now, with that out of the way, let's look at different sections. In this scenario, I'm using role and background, objective, use case and context, conversation flow guidelines, but bear in mind that these are not set in stone. One thing that is definitely important is let the AI know who it should represent. In this case, the role or the identity, because this will help him get more focused throughout the conversation and use its knowledge in the best way possible. So your identity, in this case, you are Sarah, a human-like AI voice travel agent assistant for this company. Then, if you position the AI as an expert or as a beginner, it will be able to adjust the track word based on that. And as for background, I decided to give the AI company unique selling points. This way, it will keep it top of mind, right? Also, something that is important to know. The higher the information, meaning the closer it is to the top, the more important, the more relevant it is for the voice agent. Information at the bottom tends to be less important than information at the top. So take that with a grain of salt, because of course the AI will always read and know everything about your prompt, but keep in mind that information that stays closer to the top tends to be more relevant than the one to the bottom. Now, the next thing that is very important is to identify the objective, the goal. So in this case, I told the AI, your primary goal is to answer customer inquiries about travel options, bookings, and related services. That way it's very clear. The AI knows what is the goal and will do everything it can in its power to achieve that goal. And then, main action. In this case, the main action is, when appropriate, transfer the call to an expert travel manager for more detailed assistance. So what this means is that the AI, once it gives information, once it hits the goal, then it will go for this. Now, you could also argue that there might be some use cases where you need secondary actions, as for example, letting the person know that if X, Y, and Z happens, you will send them an email, or that someone from your team will get back to them. So all of that is possible, and you can create if-else condition and logic, but again, just for the sake of time, I will keep it simple. Next, use case and context. I like always to give additional context to the AI. Why? Because this will help him sound more natural. Just like a human, it will be able to better adapt, knowing what the environment looks like. In this case, I'm letting him know, inbound call. The call comes from a customer who initiated the contact via the website of this company. Then, customer intent. They may have questions about flight deals, travel itineraries, luxury travel options, or the booking process. These are the most relevant options and why most people reach out. Then service options. I'm giving some additional information about the service options. So the AI agent should provide clear, concise answers, and if needed, quickly offer a live transfer to an expert travel manager. I want to ensure that if someone wants to be connected with an expert travel manager, the AI doesn't try to keep it on a call for too long. So this is just a quick way to let them know, hey, if someone asks to get straight transferred, please do that. Okay. Again, you can change the naming scheme, but I always encourage you to at least address these main topics. Not last, but very important, the conversation flow guidelines. You can use a script-based approach where you give them exactly line by line, or more a guideline approach. My personal favorite one is a guideline approach. Why? Because you will see that the AI will perform faster, it's more snappier, it's also more human-like, and it's more flexible. With scripts, even though it's able to follow them, it doesn't do it as well, in my opinion, as if you give them a little bit more freedom. At the end of the day, AI knows and can process information better and quicker than us. So let's take advantage of that. In this case, very simple. Step 1, initiate the call by greeting and identifying yourself, understanding about the inquiry, provide information and answer questions, then transition to the live assistance, and objection handling and closing and call transfer. These are the main steps that most calls will go through, or a perfect call should go through, right? So first, greet the customer warmly. I don't need to tell him exactly what to say. Then introduce yourself as Sarah, the AI travel agent assistant from the company. Ask for their name and how you can assist them today. Use a friendly conversational tone that reassures them that they are speaking with a travel expert. So this is plain simple. This is the same way I would instruct a human team member on how to do it. So just do the same with the AI. Second, understand why they are calling. Pretty straightforward, right? Ask an open-ended question to identify the customer's travel needs. Give them some examples. Listen carefully and mirror their language to build rapport. And last but not least, if necessary, ask for clarification or additional details. The more information we gather, the better. Step 3, provide information and answer questions. So I'm telling them how to perform. Offer concise, accurate information about available business class deals, travel packages, or luxury travel services. All this information will be added in the knowledge base. Answer any questions the customer might have using clear, engaging language. Keep responses brief and focused, ensuring one question per turn if you need more info. So again, this is no different than training a human. If you have an SOP, this is how it should look like, right? Then objection handling. So when applicable, some customers might raise some objections. Oh, I saw better prices elsewhere, or might have hesitations. So even though you don't need to write down your objection handling, you can let them know about how to adapt to the different objections. In this case, if the customer hesitates or raises objections about speaking with the manager, acknowledge their concern empathetically. In my case, I'd like them to use empathy. Ask a clarifying question to better understand their hesitation, and then provide a brief reassurance highlighting the benefits of speaking with an expert. Whenever they have an hesitation, knowledge will then clarify, then reassure them that the best way would be to speak with an expert travel manager. Last but not least, closing and call transfer. I'm just giving you instructions here. Once the customer agrees, confirm that you will transfer them to the expert travel manager. Restate any important details and end the call politely with a friendly sign-off if the transfer is successful. And that's it, right? No need to spend hours prompting or writing line by line, seeing what works best. AI will learn by itself. Our system is capable and intelligent enough to learn with each and every interaction. So the less fancy you are, the best results you'll get. And most of the times, the worst performing prompts are the ones who have a gazillion different variables. Everything is hyper scripted, and not even a human would perform well with such script. So provide guidelines instead of a script, you'll see better results. Trust me. Last but not least, this is optional. In this case, if you want to fine-tune the tone or the language, the flexibility and other criteria about the personality of the AI, you can add it as guidelines. In this case, tone and language. Use natural, friendly, and engaging tone. Feel free to use conversational fillers like or ha to sound natural, right? If you wanted to be a little more Humorous, you can. If you want it to be a little bit more serious and confident, you can. Efficiency, keep the conversation quick and effective, focusing on answering questions and facilitating the transfer. Again, I want to facilitate the transfer in this question. Again, I want to facilitate the transfer in this use case. Flexibility, adapt your responses based on the customer's needs and language, ensuring a personalized and helpful experience. Last but not least, one question per turn. I want to try to keep the conversation light and quick. That's why I added this. Now, I will share this prompt in our Nedzo Academy, so you can copy and paste and adapt if you like. And keep in mind, it's all about experimenting, right? But most importantly, as long as you know how a perfect call should look like, then you can troubleshoot. How? By listening to the recordings and then just adding small guidelines one at a time to better guide the AI. Remember, our AIs are smarter than most. They will learn by itself. They will get amazing results if you let them. And one very important thing before launching your AI agent live, ensure that you double check the opening line. This is the first thing your AI agent will always say. Then make sure you click publish, because if you don't publish, nothing will be saved. Even for testing purposes, ensure that you click publish first before testing the agent. And then once you're ready, have some fun and get some great results.